From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Kayode Okikiolu.
Tonight, Muslims in Nigeria join others across the world to celebrate this year's Eid-el-Kabir amid concerns of a third wave of COVID-19. The president joins other Muslims to observe the Eid-el-Kabir in his hometown of Daura in Katsina State, vows to ensure that those troubling Nigeria's peace will be fished out. Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, arrested at the Cotonou airport in Benin Republic. And billionaire businessman Jeff Bezos makes short journey to space aboard his rocket ship, New Shepard. Plus business, sports, news from Abuja, and later international news from our London studio.
On business news tonight, Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria recovers about 1.48 trillion naira owed by bank debtors.
On sports news tonight, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, leads final batch of Team Nigeria contingent to the Tokyo Olympic Games in Japan.
And from Abuja, about 100 people, most of them women and children, kidnapped from Manawa village of Maru local government area of Zamfara state, regained their freedom.
Today is Eid-el-Kabir, an Islamic festival to commemorate the willingness of Ibrahim to follow Allah's command to sacrifice his son. Well, also referred to as the Festival of Sacrifice, Eid-el-Kabir is marked with the slaughtering of rams, cows and sheep, making it the most important feast in the Muslim calendar. Well, the sacrificed animal, usually a ram, is divided into three parts. One share is given to the poor and needy, another is kept for the home, and a third portion is given to relatives. After performing the 2 Rakat Eid-el-Kabir prayers and the ritual sacrifice, the usual practice is for crowds to watch a display of the historic Durbar, otherwise called Hawan Salah. But here in Nigeria, states like Kano and Kaduna, described as red alert states because of COVID-19, have suspended some of the activities observed during the festival, including the traditional Durbar. Well, Muslims across northern Nigeria have also participated in the prayers to mark Eid-el-Kabir. In Kaduna State, the former Emir of Kano State, Alhaji Lamido Sanusi, led the prayers at the Murtala Muhammad Prayer Ground in Kaduna. In his message, Alhaji Sanusi preached peaceful coexistence among all Nigerians, irrespective of religious and ethnic differences. The same message of peace resonated at other prayer gatherings in the region.
A large turnout of worshippers waiting outside the National Eid ground in Abuja. COVID-19 protocols are applied as the faithful prepare to join in the prayers, which is the first to be held on this ground this year. The blue blood in the veins of the former Emir of Kano still flows with much ado as he leads the 2 Rakat prayers in Kaduna. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma Rabbana wa lakal hamd. He is joined by several dignitaries, including the state governor. His message centers on the need for peace in the country.
Alhamdulillah, we pray for peace, we pray for stability, we pray for improvements in economic conditions, inshallah.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Religious and political leaders joined in the prayers, which were held on various grounds across the northern part of the country. Eid-el-Kabir, meaning Festival of Sacrifice, is marked to commemorate the sacrifice made by Prophet Ibrahim. And this message resonates among the Muslim faithful, especially as the nation combats security threats.
To the miscreants among us, the bandits, the kidnappers, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala touch their mind so that they can reform. And I pray for peace and tranquility in our country.
The most important lesson on this day is the sacrifice that we all need to make to live together in unity and Nigerians will cooperate with each other to ensure the return of peace, stability and unity.
We must continue to love each other, love ourselves, and continue to provide credible information to law enforcement agencies so that any opportunistic criminal that will come our way, we can rout them out at all times.
We thank the President for deploying all the arsenal he possibly can. And we appreciate all institutions, the security agencies, our traditional rulers, and the people for putting all hands on deck to make sure we've brought down the alarming rate of insecurity.
This celebration is coming to us at a very critical moment, a period where we are facing some security challenges, economic challenges, and then also health challenges. So I want to use the opportunity to call on all our people to continue to pray for our leaders, all our governors, all our other leaders of the various stages, and of course our nation and its people.
The President's Chief of Staff also joined members of the State House staff and their families to observe the 2 Rakat prayers.
President Muhammadu Buhari is urging Nigerians, including community leaders, to assist security operatives to fish out those responsible for the insecurity in the country. Speaking in his hometown Dora in Katsina State after observing the Eid prayers, President Buhari says those causing insecurity in the country are only trying to distract his administration. He reinstates his determination to end banditry and ensure that farmers can return to their farms.
The Kofa Arewa Eid prayer ground in Daura, Katsina State is agog on the morning of the Eid-el-Kabir following the arrival of the President Muhammadu Buhari. Hundreds of residents, including the Emir of Daura, His Royal Highness Umar Farouk, and other traditional and religious leaders, take part in the communal Rakat prayers led by the Chief Imam Alhaji Safiyanu Dansawai. Allahu Akbar. The current insecurity in the country inspired calls for special prayers by the Emir of Daura, who directs residents to persistently pray for a successful conclusion of the president's tenure in office. On the side, 2 white rams, symbolic of the festival of sacrifice, is slaughtered by the president. Beyond the celebration, what seems to resonate more for the president is getting rid of the bandits.
Those that are distracting the attention of governments at all levels, local, state and federal, they live among them, they know them, let them expose them, so that we can have peace in the country. Well, what every Nigerian needs is peace now, so that they can go back to their farms, they can go around peacefully, and it's up to Nigerians to mobilize themselves and get rid of the bandits.
Based on reports from the Presidential Economic Council of an abundance of arable land, the president is asking more people to embrace farming.
They came out with a figure that really overwhelmed me, that not more than 2.5% of Nigerian cultivable land is being cultivated. Not more than 2.5%. Everybody has rushed into the cities and towns to make noise. Or there's a lot of land to be cultivated.
On the streets of Daura, a throng of residents cheer on and for the moment oblivious of their present challenges. The presidency believes that in spite of the prevailing security challenge, support by Nigerians can engender more action by the government to resolve the myriad of challenges in the country. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
The Nigerian youths also have a part to play in uniting the country by exploring and celebrating the diversity that the different regions present. This is according to President Buhari, who received members of the National Youth Service Corps serving in Dora at his home as part of the Eid-el-Kabir celebration. The president also commended the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, for initiating the NYC scheme.
And here you are warm and dry, you are making, it is now warm and humid. It's normally, most of the time, it's hot and dry. And firstly, we see a bit of the canopy, which makes NYSC a spectacular government performance. And what I told him about 3 months ago, I repeated it to him. Because the most important thing is for people who are in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, in Calabar, to come here to see how Nigeria is a neighbor to the Sahara Desert and enjoy the weather. This gives us not only the cultural differences, but also the geographical and physical differences. And this is what makes Nigeria. That's why I feel very strongly about NYSC, and I always wish you the best of luck.
Well, here in the southwest, prayers were also held at different prayer grounds. Well, amid the downpour in Lagos, Muslim faithful in the state gathered at the Dordon Barracks in Ikoyi to observe their prayers. In other places, residents were asked to imbibe the lessons of the season, which centers on peace, and encouraged to celebrate moderately to reduce the spread of COVID-19.
It's a rainy Salah day here in Lagos. Rather than an inconvenience, many consider rain on a day like this a blessing and a sign of answered prayers. The Deputy Governor of Lagos and Speaker of the House of Representatives are here with other worshippers to observe the religious tradition, with all safety protocols observed. Eid-el-Kabir is a day to connect with the teachings of sacrifice, love and forbearance.
So whatever we promise ourselves in terms of agreement, we should try as much as possible to keep to it. And to be fair to each other, to be caring to each other. So if we take on that principle, you know, all this insurgency, kidnapping and the rest will certainly not take place.
In Oyo State, Muslim faithful joined the state governor, Seyi Makinde, in worship. Pockets of people here follow the safety protocols of putting on face masks. The message from Governor Makinde to all, especially those whom he says have been fomenting trouble in the state, is that peace must reign.
In the spirit of the season, of the celebrations going on right now, to ask the rabble-rousers in Oyo State to have a rethink. They cannot destroy this place on religious ground.
And in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, a similar message of unity is passed by the governor to worshippers. A former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dimeji Bankole, joins the prayers. The Chief of Staff to the Governor of Ogun State, Salis Shoaib, enjoins all to embrace unity of purpose and patriotism to the nation.
All human beings, we are from the same family, one club of humanity. As you go out today, everyone you see on the road is a member of your family. whether it shares religion with you, whether it shares ethnic affiliation, or even political persuasion, we must continue to remember that together we can build this nation.
The prayers are marked with a slaughtering of rams, which connects with obedience and divine provision.
In part 2, after the break, we have more on today's Eid-el-Kabir, this time on how it was celebrated in the South and Southeast regions. Stay with us. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Muslims in Nigeria joined their counterparts across the world to celebrate this year's Eid-el-Kabir amid concerns of a third wave of COVID-19. The president joins other Muslims to observe Eid-el-Kabir in his hometown of Daura in Katsina State, vows to ensure that those troubling Nigeria's peace will be fished out. Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, arrested at the Cotonou airport in Benin Republic. And billionaire businessman Jeff Bezos makes short journey to space aboard his rocket ship, New Shepard. Muslims in the southeast and south regions of the country also joined the Eid-el-Kabir celebration. While some clerics called for peaceful coexistence among all tribes and religion, others want governments to tackle the security challenge in the nation.
Muslims converging on the central mosque in Abakaliki, the Ebonyi state capital. They join other faithful around the world in the annual celebration. The Commissioner of Police in the state is joining in this prayer session, which precedes other activities lined up for the day. He assures residents of the state of their safety during the festivities.
For those that have the wrong intention, security is well in place, as you have seen. They are all over. And we are doing everything possible to bring down whatever is a situation that will bring any breach of the public peace. By extension, we want Nigerians to have confidence on the security agencies, that we are ready at any time to do everything possible to protect lives and property.
As the Northerners here, we live in peace. We have peaceful coexistence among we and the host community, both with the government. So I think living in peace is the best. Without peace, there will be no stability. Without peace, there will be no development. So I call all of us to live in peace, both Christian and Muslim.
The faithful in Enugu are also in the mood of celebration. As a way of felicitating with Muslims, the Enugu state governor is donating food items to Muslim faithful in the state.
The governor of Enugu state, with all these items, to come and celebrate with our Muslim brothers and sisters here in Enugu. Remember, we are indigenous of Enugu. We are one. The governor is celebrating the Salah with you.
We put Enugu State in prayer. We want to thank him for this peace that is established in Enugu State. We want to thank him for all he has been doing for the Muslim Ummah. We are highly grateful.
In Benin City, it's a large turnout for prayers at the Ikpoba Slope Prayer Ground in the Edo State capital. The Chief Imam of Benin leads the session. He harps on the need for governments to be responsive in handling the security challenges facing Nigeria.
They don't understand the position they are occupying, because for everybody that is killed in this country, the leaders have a case to answer before God. That is why they should be up and doing. There should be no sentiment, tribalism, or nepotism. Whoever is caught committing crime should be punished accordingly. Our police, our soldiers are one of the best in the world. Our police will go to abroad and go and perform well. They'll be rewarded. Why is it that when they are here, they are not giving hands to work? Let them give them hands to work. They will fish out all these criminals one by one.
The celebration continues nationwide and across the world with pleas for the faithful to imbibe the lessons of the festival.
Meanwhile, security is a major concern for Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, who announced that more troops have been deployed to the state to help flush out bandits and other criminals in a bid to restore peace and security in the state. He also solicits for prayers to help tackle the challenges.
We are working around the clock. The people of Kaduna State should know that a massive military operation has started yesterday in the state to clear our state of bandits. They will begin to see the difference very, very soon by the grace of God. But we need prayers for our leaders, for our soldiers, for our policemen and security forces that are working around the clock to improve the security situation, working hard to improve the economy and create jobs for our young people. But we need prayers. Our leaders need prayers, our country needs prayers, and we all must commit to peaceful coexistence and progress of our country.
Well, more state governors are felicitating with Muslims on the occasion of Eid-el-Kabir. In Lagos, southwest Nigeria, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu congratulates Muslims across the country, urging them to imbibe the lessons of sacrifice made by Prophet Ibrahim and work for the peace, stability, unity and progress of the country. He, however, appeals to Nigerians to celebrate with caution in the wake of the third wave of coronavirus infections in Nigeria. In neighboring Ogun State, Governor Dapo Abiodun is urging Muslims to emulate the resilience, patience and steadfastness as exemplified by Prophet Ibrahim. He says the festival should be used to further foster unity and love and also serve as an opportunity to supplicate and seek the face of God for restoration and healing in the land. And in the South-South region, Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade is admonishing Muslims to embrace the virtues of obedience, love, almsgiving, honesty and sacrifice as exemplified by Prophet Muhammad. According to him, more than ever before, our country needs collective will of all its citizens to surmount its challenges. And over to Imo State in southeast Nigeria, where Governor Hope Uzodinma is urging the Muslim faithful in the country to make love, peace and unity the hallmark of their celebrations. He says imbibing the spirit of love, peace, kindness, unity and sacrifice goes a long way in showing understanding of what Prophet Muhammad stood and died for. And in the north-central Benue State Governor Samuel Otom's message is similar to those of his counterparts, urging Nigerians to continue to pray and support the peace and unity of the country. He says the current spate of insecurity, including banditry and other acts of terrorism, can only be surmounted if security agencies are given adequate support. Well, in the spirit of Eid-el-Kabir celebrations, the Minority Caucus in the House of Representatives felicitates with Muslim faithful and urges leaders across the country to use the occasion to shed all selfish and narrow-minded interests and commit to a life of patriotism for the good of all. According to a statement by the minority leader, Ndudi Elumelu, Eid-el-Kabir no doubt teaches us as leaders and a people that with faith in God, selflessness, honesty and transparency, particularly on the part of elected leaders in pursuing the good of all, our nation will overcome all her challenges. It further reads, we are however saddened that many families are currently hurting and unable to meet their desires for the celebration due to the agonizing economic and security situation in the country at the moment. The Minority Caucus asks Nigerians to brace up, unite, and encourage one another at this critical time. The leading voice in the Yoruba Nation agitation, Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, has been arrested by security operatives. Although security agencies are yet to formally confirm his arrest, renowned historian and leader of the umbrella body of Yoruba self-determination groups, Professor Banji Akintoye, explained in a statement that he received the information last night that Mr. Adeyemo was arrested at the Cotonou airport. A part of the statement reads, I and other Yoruba patriots who are immediately available are now working to provide the assistance necessary to ensure that nobody will be able to do to him anything unlawful or primitive, and to prevent him from being extradited into Nigeria, which is strongly possible. Professor Akitoye, however, notes that Benin Republic is a land where the authorities respect the rule of law. The Department of State Services had declared Mr. Adeyemo wanted after security operatives raided his home in Ibadan, where they claimed they recovered arms and other items. Before now, Mr. Igboho had been leading agitations for Yoruba Nation, holding rallies in various parts of the southwest. In Kaduna State, the abductors of the 121 students of Bethel Baptist Secondary School are demanding the sum of 60 million naira as ransom before releasing the students. Father of one of the kidnapped students who confirmed the developments to our correspondent says the bandits have also given them till next week Monday for payment of the ransom. He added that after March negotiations, the bandits pegged the sum of 500,000 naira as ransom for each student. The bandits had on July the 8th attacked Bethel Baptist Secondary School in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State and abducted 121 students from their hostels. Last week, they released one of the students who fell sick in their custody, along with 2 other people who were kidnapped on the Kaduna-Kachia Road. They were later rescued inside the forest by operatives of the Kaduna State Police Command. Well, let's now cross over to our Abuja studio for more on the news at 10 with Linda Akiwe. Good evening, Linda.
Good evening, Kayode. Now, staying with security, and this time in Zamfara, the State Police Command has rescued 100 kidnapped victims, most of women and children. Briefing newsmen in Gusau, the spokesperson of the command, SP Mohammed Shehu, said all the victims were from Manawa village of Maru local government area of the state. According to him, the victims who were kidnapped by bandits on the 8th of June this year and taken to Kaburu village in Maru local government area were released unconditionally, adding that no ransom was paid before their release.
The rescue was made without any condition of either paying ransom or any other condition that has not been met. The release was unconditional. So you can see them. We have about 80 of them here with us, both the female, the men, and the underage, that is children. While those who could not make it to be here with us due to medical issues, that we bear with them and said, let them be with their families so as to treat them very well. While those that are here with us, as we have said, will be debriefed by the police and also the Ministry for Security will take care of the medical check-up to ensure that each and every one of them is healthy before being reunited with their families. Our action in Zamfara State has been successful, and inshallah, the Zamfara State Police Command, in collaboration with other security agencies and the state government, will continue to do their best to ensure that Zamfara State or people of Zamfara State sleep with their 2 eyes closed.
On another tragic note, a 2-story building under construction in Lagos has collapsed, killing a man who is said to be the owner of the house. The only victim, identified as Daniel Obasi, was said to have been inspecting the facility situated at number 77 Tapa Road, Okojo, Isawo, in Ikorodu, when the structure came down at about 2:30 p.m. today. According to neighbors, ongoing construction work at the site had been suspended due to the Eid-el-Kabir celebration, but they suspect inadequate timeline for sand filling and poor building materials used may have been responsible for the collapse. The police has recovered and taken the body to the mortuary at the General Hospital, Ikorodu. And to health matters, The Enugu State Ministry of Health has confirmed that 7 more people have died from cholera in the state, bringing the number of deaths to 14. The new fatalities are amongst the 19 others hospitalized after exhibiting severe cholera symptoms. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Ikechukwu Obi, had announced the outbreak of cholera in the state, stating that the state government had mapped out plans to forestall the spread while carrying out sensitization on safe and hygienic practices in communities across the states. At least 54 people have died following the outbreak of cholera in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Authorities say 604 cases of the disease have been recorded from early May of 2021 to date, with more than half of the cases said to have been recorded within the last 3 weeks. While the Federal Capital Territory officials are working to tackle the situation, residents in some of the affected communities are raising concerns about the absence of basic amenities such as water and the lack of proper environmental sanitation. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
Across the 6 area councils of the Federal Capital Territory, cholera is on the rise. Children, women and their men have died, and over 600 people have so far been affected by cholera. We visit one of the families who lost 2 people within a space of 2 days in Angwanliman Rabo in Zuba town, and they narrate to us how it all happened.
The informers were not talking to us, so when we rushed into hospital, before then I was already there, the time is too late for him. So when he came back, the next day the other one started too. He just told me I'm vomited, and I just go too.
65-year-old Amadou Koko also lost his 25-year-old son, who died shortly after stooling and vomiting excessively.
Na je na same shi ina iya magana abin shi yana magana yace baba da sauki yace da sauki yace shi to sai na koma na kwanta aka lokacin mun fa ina.
A major challenge that is common in communities that have recorded outbreak of cholera in the FCT is the lack of potable water, with most residents relying on water vendors or boreholes for water.
The same proceed is up at Madala, and this will go to Madala and fetch the water there with wheelbarrow and send it to us, we drink. We don't know where they carry this water from.
The water is like cement, like a toilet, then inside that borehole the people bring it.
Some rely on wells, which are mostly in poor and unhealthy states. This is the only source of water in this area for these people, the well, and they have to draw water virtually every day for their domestic use. And if you see inside the well, it's not clean. It has spirogyra in addition to particles such as nylon and other things that fall into the well because the well is mostly not covered. Just last week, 10-year-old Khadija, who resides here, was hit by cholera, but she survived it.
We lost almost 3 people in this area, and almost in a week we lost them. So it is very, very bad. And we use the water, we use it to cook. We bath with it, we do many things with it. So as the government will come and help us, we'll be very, very thankful.
Another challenge is lack of drainage system in some communities, and where they are available, they are mostly not properly maintained.
We need government to come to our aid to help us by building a drainage here.
We are trying to even have our environmental marshal that will go around on daily basis to sensitize the public and possibly even shut down some shops.
To address the problem, the Minister of State for FCT, officials from the FCT Primary Health Care and other agencies are in the palace of the Agora of Zuba to flag off community sensitization on cholera and other severe acute diarrhea diseases. The message is on the need to maintain proper hygiene and environmental sanitation by the people.
Over 120 communities are involved across the 6 area councils, with Amak having the highest suspected cases, followed by Gwagwalada and Buhari area councils. As a matter of urgency, FCTA has taken several measures to stop the spread of the disease, as well as to provide adequate care to those affected.
As the government hopes to tackle the scourge of cholera through sensitization such as this one, residents of affected communities in the FCT look forward to having the underlying factors responsible for cholera outbreak addressed. Empress Simon, Channels Television News.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Coyote.
Thanks, Linda. In the third week of July, the Presidential Steering Committee put 6 states and the Federal Capital Territory on red alert for a third wave of COVID-19 owing to an increase in daily confirmed infections. Lagos, Oyo, Kaduna, Kano, Plateau, Rivers and the FCT are the major contributors to this surge. But just how possible will it be to stop a third wave in its tracks, or at least reduce its severity? Well, our correspondent Mary Alale Yusuf reports the Lagos situation.
The numbers have increased from about 11 cases of COVID-19 nationwide towards the end of June to about 150 cases in mid-July. In Lagos, from an average of 30 new infections per day less than 2 weeks ago, the daily count is now over 100. But to look at residents in the city, one wouldn't guess that it is in the beginning of a third wave of the COVID-19 breakout. The streets are filled with activity as people stand or sit in close proximity and talk over each other without masks. People don't even feign adherence to non-pharmaceutical protocols, as was the case in the first wave.
There was like an information that was spun around the media that the pandemic is on a minimal level and the cases drop or something like that.
My thought is that this thing is for the old ones and the rich men, not for youths. Do you understand? That's the reason I'm not putting on my mask. That's my own thinking.
Only a few seem to be taking the threat of the virus seriously.
I know it's not yet gone, so that's why I'm still protecting myself and my family.
The Lagos state government says it's paying closer attention to points of entry in order to prevent a deadly third wave.
We've tightened our restrictions at the airport. We're making sure that everybody coming in is going into home isolation or mandatory 7-day isolation in hotels if you're coming from one of the 4 red countries, including that we're doing 1 extra test on day 2 for those people coming in from the red countries, which means that if you're incubating or if you have the virus, we pick it up earlier.
With over 61,000 cumulative cases, Lagos bears more than a third of the nation's COVID-19 burden and has over 2,200 hospitalized cases, which corresponds to about 81% of the active cases nationwide. 456 deaths, about 21% of the country's total, have occurred here. The state is convinced, however, that with strict observance of non-pharmaceutical protocols and closer inspection at points of entry, the situation can be saved. Whatever the outcome, the onus lies largely on Lagos to mitigate the danger of a third wave by getting residents more enlightened about it and encouraging their participation in the fight. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
Also, Agriculture, International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, has reaffirmed its determination to support the rural farmers in Kogi State. The body hopes to enhance the capacity and income of local farmers in a manner that ensures food security through production, processing and marketing of cassava and rice crops. The State Coordinator of Value Chain Development Program, Dr. Stella Dejo, disclosed this during the flag-off of the distribution of the 2021 wet season inputs to cassava and rice farmers at Kungbani community in Lokoja local government.
our farmers that are going to benefit.
The people of Lokoja local government area in Kongbani community are predominantly farmers, but they lack inputs and farm implements which can help them to produce rice and cassava in large quantity. The International Fund for Agricultural Development and Value Chain Development Program are in Kongbani community for the 2021 main season input distribution, and about 800 rural farmers from 5 local government areas have been captured to benefit from the program.
We're here this morning for the flag-off ceremony of
the State Coordinator, Value Chain Development Program, Dr. Stella Adejo, who commends the State Governor for paying his counterpart funds that enabled the program commence, disclosed that it has established rice processing units in Kongbani community for farmers who are in processing, adding that market stalls and boreholes have been provided to support the farmers.
VCDP stands to support you from production to processing to marketing, so that your living standard as farmers can be improved, and also to ensure that we have food security in Kogi State, and that translates to food security in Nigeria as a whole.
In his keynote address, the Director, Agricultural Services, states that the distribution of the inputs to farmers has clearly shown the interest government and relevant organizations have for farmers to succeed in Kogi State.
I want to state here that the farmers, in the past we've been giving such inputs to farmers, but most of these farmers giving out to them has been sold out. So I want to wish that the beneficiaries, when giving these inputs, should judiciously use these inputs given to them.
The highlight of the event was the distribution of farm inputs to the beneficiaries.
We are very grateful.
Some of the beneficiaries thanked the government for supporting them.
We thank God for everything. We are going to see the benefit of this program.
The input given to us today will ensure that we will judiciously use for the benefit of the farmers and Kogi State entirety.
With this distribution of farm inputs, it's expected that its judicious use will result in a bountiful harvest for the farmers and cap up a successful planting season.
Well, there's so much happening in the world of business in spite of a public holiday. Anna Waudo has the details.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Kayode. Let's begin business news with the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria saying that it has recovered 1.48 trillion naira out of 4.15 trillion naira from bank debtors. This news is coming after almost 15 years of uncollected loans. According to the statement by the Managing Director of AMCON, Ahmed Kuru, the agency still has a record of 7,902 outstanding obligations, with the total outstanding loan of more than 3.1 trillion naira. Mr. Kuru, however, adds that despite the efforts of the corporation, the economic slowdown of the banking sector creates a huge gap in debt recovery operations. The National Bureau of Statistics says that Nigeria's Consumer Price Index CPI increased by 17.75% in the month of June this year. According to that report, headline index increased by 1.06% in June 2021, and that's 0.05% higher than May 2021. Our next report takes a survey of the impact of the rise on citizens.
The Eid celebrations may be halfway gone, but money is still changing hands at various markets. At Kara, a border market between Lagos and Ogun states, Muslim faithful are on a last-minute purchase of food items. However, prices may have more than doubled, no thanks to the pandemic and other factors.
Last year, the ram we are selling last year 70,000, 80,000. This year it don't increase 100, 120, 130. Now so we are selling up to 167. We are selling it.
At the Mile 12 market, buyers and sellers seem to have closed deals in early sales, as the market is now almost literally empty, a far cry from the usual hustle and bustle.
The inflation is too high. So it's not something we will say that we are confused of. That is the thing. To me, I believe government has solution to it. They are the only one that can help out in this way.
The last time I came to the market, like 10 liters of oil was still 9,000 naira. Coming today now is already 12,000 naira. As in outrageous prices. As a food vendor, I don't know, because I would charge my customers before coming to the market. But coming to the market, things would have gone up. So I don't know how you people will help us. Like, the prices of things outrageous.
The Ikpodo market in Ikeja is seemingly different as residents come out to purchase the much they can.
The demand, the people that need it, it's more than what they see in the market. So the people that have it, they increase the price. That is it. Just the Fulanis and the herdsmen, the crisis. That's what caused the increases of markets.
Prior to the Eid celebrations, prices of commodities have been on the rise compared to the same time last year. And this has no doubt affected the purchasing power of the average Nigerian.
Members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria have been proffering solutions on how entrepreneurs can access low-interest loans to fund their businesses. Some of the solutions, according to them, is the institutionalization of agencies responsible for the disbursement of loans for small businesses and the establishment of cooperatives by entrepreneurs. Pensioners who failed their under parastatals, police, customs, immigration and prisons may soon heave a sigh of relief, as a Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate says it has now paid an additional 9 months of consequential adjustment arrears occasioned by the new minimum wage. The agency further states that a total of 18 out of 24-month arrears of the pension increment has already been paid to date. According to that statement by the Executive Secretary of PTAD, Dr. Chioma Ejikeme, the payment aims to support defined benefit scheme pensioners, especially during the Eid-el-Kabir festive period. Major global stock markets in the United States and Europe rebounded today after Monday's sharp sell-off. On the other hand, Nairobi's stock exchange was closed for the Muslim festive holiday. Let's see the numbers. Stock exchange was also closed for the holiday. That's business news tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Back to you, Coyote.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894 now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Well, thanks a lot, Anne. The world's richest man, Jeff Bezos, also became the world's richest man in space just hours ago, albeit just for a few minutes, when he and 3 other members of the civilian crew in his company Blue Origin's New Shepard launch vehicle soared about 66.5 miles and returned safely to Earth. It has been described as a historic suborbital flight that helps to inaugurate a new era of private commercial space tourism. Well, Simon Pusey has more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. China has hit back over what they say are groundless claims that it carried out a major cyber attack against the tech giant Microsoft. The United States and its allies have accused China of hacking Microsoft Exchange, a popular email platform used by companies worldwide. China's foreign ministry spokesman said the accusations were politically motivated and the United States had not provided enough evidence. 4 Chinese nationals have been charged in the global hacking campaign aimed at dozens of companies. Mali's interim president Assimi Goïta has been attacked by 2 armed men, including one wielding a knife. The attack took place during prayers in the Great Mosque in the capital Bamako, amid festivities for the Islamic festival of Eid al-Adha. Goïta has since been taken from the scene, according to a journalist who witnessed the attack. The president was sworn into office last month, despite facing a diplomatic backlash over his second power grab in 9 months. Funerals have been held for the 30 people that were killed in a bomb attack on a busy market in the Iraqi capital Baghdad. The device, which also wounded more than 60 people, exploded in the Al-Wuhulayt market as families prepared for Eid. It was the deadliest bombing in Baghdad in 6 months. The Islamic State group claimed it was behind the blast, saying one of its members detonated an explosive vest. Women and children were among the dead, and some shops burned down as a result of the explosion. Billionaire Jeff Bezos has blasted into space in the first crewed flight of his rocket ship New Shepard. The world's richest person aboard his company Blue Origin launch vehicle completed a suborbital flight at the edge of space, also known as Kármán line, which defines the boundary between Earth's atmosphere and space. New Shepard is designed to serve the burgeoning market for space tourism. The launch comes 9 days after Bezos's space tourism rival, Sir Richard Branson, flew high above the Earth on his Virgin Galactic space plane. The massive wildfire in Oregon in the US has become so intense that it is creating its own weather. That's according to local scientists. The bootleg fire has already burned through more than 300,000 acres, prompting thousands of evacuations. It's so big that the huge ash clouds it produces can cause lightning and winds to blow in different directions. The fire has already burnt an area larger than the city of Los Angeles. It is one of more than 80 major fires raging across 13 US states, spurred by heat waves and high winds. President Castillo has been declared president-elect of Peru weeks after winning the popular vote in a tightly contested runoff election. The country's election authority announced its verdict after reviewing claims of electoral fraud by his right-wing rival, Keiko Fujimori. Mr. Castillo, a 51-year-old former schoolteacher and union leader, secured just over 50% of the votes. During his presidential campaign, he pledged to nationalize Peru's lucrative mining and hydrocarbon sectors and said he would aim to create 1 million new jobs in a year. Costa Rican police have seized 4.3 tons of cocaine originating from Colombia in the nation's second-largest drug bust ever. Major cocaine busts in recent years have stoked fears that Costa Rica has become an important transit country for Colombian drugs heading toward Europe. The shipment of cocaine was transported in a container loaded with ceramic floor tiling aboard a commercial ship that arrived at the Costa Rican port of Moín from Colombia's Caribbean port of Turbo. China's eastern port city Qingdao has experienced the worst ever algae infestation in the region. More than 1,700 square kilometers of coastal area have been blanketed by the green seaweed, also known as green tide. More than 1 million tons of algae is expected to be removed from coastal waters. And finally, burpees are one of the exercises that many people try to avoid, but that's not the case for a Brazilian who set a new Guinness World Record. Cassiano Rodrigues Laureano managed to do 951 burpees in just 1 hour. He then collapsed on the floor, clearly very emotional at the achievement. He had trained for around 9 months before setting the record. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Simon, for more sports stories, here's Ayotune Balogun.
Many thanks, Coyote. The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, says all Team Nigeria athletes that will fly the country's flag at the Tokyo Olympics, which is just 3 days away, have been successfully airlifted to Japan. He made this known just before leaving for Tokyo with the last Nigerian contingent from the Abuja airport. Mr. Dare is asking Nigerians to pray for the country and is hopeful that the athletes will return with medals.
I'm happy that this team of athletes have spent years preparing with the support of the federal government, with the support of their coaches, with the support of their federations. We leave today to join the 3 batches that have gone ahead of us. We leave with great hopes for our country. We live with prayers for our athletes that they will excel and they will find strength in their legs and their bodies as they compete. We are hopeful that we will return back victorious with medals for our country.
Meanwhile, the head of the organizing committee for the Tokyo Olympics has not ruled out a last-minute cancellation of the Games. Rising coronavirus cases have presented organizers with mounting challenges, with 10 more positive cases in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of people affected to 68. An IOC's chair of Athletics Commission of Kirsty Coventry says athletes in the Olympic Village are already sharing the excitement they had rather than worrying about catching COVID-19. The former Olympic medalist has played down fears that COVID-19 could easily be spread among athletes while sharing accommodation ahead of the Games. And Britain's Anthony Joshua will defend his World Boxing Association, International Boxing Federation and World Boxing Organization heavyweight titles against Alexander Usyk at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London on September the 25th. Joshua was set to fight compatriot Tyson Fury in a unification bout in Saudi Arabia in August, but that fight was scrapped when the United States arbitrator ruled that World Boxing Council champion Fury must defend his title against Deontay Wilder. And that's a wrap on Sports News.
Thanks, Ayo. And the main news again. Muslims in Nigeria today joined their counterparts across the world to celebrate this year's Eid-el-Kabir amid concerns over a third wave of COVID-19. Also today, the president joined other Muslims to observe the Eid-el-Kabir in his hometown of Daura in Katsina State and vowed to ensure that those troubling Nigeria's peace will be fished out. And billionaire businessman Jeff Bezos today made a short journey to space aboard his rocket ship, New Shepard. Again, from all of us at Channels Television, happy Eid-el-Kabir celebrations to Muslim faithful. Well, that's the news at 10. I'm Karaoke Kyulu. Good night.